Well, we've got one of the most famous linemen in NFL history, Mark Stepnoski, on with us. Pro career in the NFL. Most of it spent with the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Oilers. He won 2 Super Bowls while with the Cowboys and was a 5-time Pro Bowler. And he is a 9/11 truther. We had him on almost a year ago. It was a long time ago. Time just flies by. Seems like yesterday. And he also campaigns for the legalization of marijuana, the decriminalization. You got 80+% of drug users only use marijuana. They need to keep it that way so that they need to keep it illegal so they can SWAT team raid more people and fill more prisons while the government has been caught hundreds of times shipping in heroin and cocaine and laundering the money. Did you know it's legal for foreign drug money to be invested in the New York Stock Exchange? And the former head, Richard Grasso, when he was head of the New York Stock Exchange, was in Reuters going to the FARC, communist guerrillas, and saying, invest your cocaine money with us. I'm going off on a rant here about the decriminalization of marijuana. They need to keep it illegal because, 87% of people only smoke marijuana that use illegal drugs. George Washington smoked it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is an excuse. What's a greater crime? Guys in black masks SWAT teaming you at 3 a.m. or somebody smoking marijuana? You know, do we want this great evil in the name of stopping this minor evil? And I'm not a marijuana person. Mark Stepnoski, I really appreciate you coming on with us today.
Thanks, Alex. It's good to be on with you today.
You're going to be with us for the next 50 minutes. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to open the phones up at 1-800-259-9231. In the last 10 months or so since you were on with us, a lot has happened. Top Italian former presidents, German defense ministers, Japanese Diet members, the best actress, so many prominent people have gone public for 9/11 Truth. Give us your take on the evolution of it and why 9/11 Truth is so important, why you took the step of speaking out, Mark.
Yeah, I think it's great to see, like you said, as time goes on, more and more people are coming forward as they gradually become aware of the facts. Obviously, through online research and through the amount of books and magazines that have come out now, enough authors have come forward, stated their opinion. And I think what's really important now is, obviously people early on, shortly after the 9/11 attacks, were kind of pigeonholed as conspiracy theorists. But now that label, it never did apply, but it's less applicable now than ever. Simply because the people who are coming out in favor of 9/11 Truth are too credible to ignore. In the last few years, we've had the formation of things like Scholars for 9/11 Truth, which includes architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, pilots for 9/11 Truth. We have former people who worked in government, including the current administration, who are coming out and saying that they don't believe the official story. So it's just a case of, as more people become exposed to it, as the media blackout in mainstream media continues, mostly via the Internet, people are becoming connected and becoming aware of these facts and voicing their opinion. It's very encouraging to see. It's never too late for anybody who feels strongly about this issue to come forward and voice their opinion, because I think as time goes on, people will be surprised to find out that if they are no longer worried about expressing their skepticism of the official story regarding 9/11, they will find out that there are a lot of people out there, you might refer to them as a silent majority, who also feel very much the same way. They are either too afraid or too reluctant to come forward and also express their doubts in the official story.
What made you go public? What made you you were one of the first prominent sports figures to go public. Now Willie Nelson's gone public. Jesse Ventura's gone public. It's just exponential. But what made you decide to take that leap?
I just I got tired of waiting for the channels of government to move along in a proper fashion. Like a lot of people, I had hope. It turns out to be false hope in retrospect, but I had hope at the time that maybe the 9/11 Commission would be legitimate. Maybe the safeguards that are in place in constitutional government, I thought that they would kick in and operate in the manner in which they're supposed to, and we would see a proper investigation, with relevant witnesses and evidence. And as we all know, none of that really came to fruition. The 9/11 Commission was a sham. It was a cover-up. It was a modern-day version of the Warren Commission as far as its attempt to silence witnesses and suppress truth-tellers. And, when things reached that point and that commission was shown to be the impotent vehicle that it was, I just felt compelled to, in my own small way, say whatever I could as far as what I thought the truth was.
Well, Mark, that isn't in your own small way. It's not just that you're a celebrity or a well-known sports figure. It's that people resonate with the courage of a Willie Nelson or a Mark Stepnoski or a former German defense minister or a former governor. They resonate. And they know that person has a lot to lose. That person's going to be demonized. This person is really stepping up. And so that's what makes you and so many others that have stood up and gone public heroes. But look at the vindication. The Chicago Tribune 4 months ago reported, as well as Associated Press, the NSA declassified that Israel did attack the USS Liberty to try to sink it, to blame it on Egypt to start World War III, as they've now tried, the U.S. has tried in Georgia. It's now come out, Cy Hirsch at a big media event, and he did admit in New Yorker magazine that Cheney, he just said a staged provocation. He said this is the provocation to have U.S. Navy SEALs dressed up like Iranians on blue PT boats attack U.S. ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So government-sponsored terror, the fact that Gulf of Tonkin was staged, that's all coming out now. And people say, well, that was 7 years ago, 9/11. Why are you so concerned? Well, because Black Ops is going to continue to stage terror attacks as a pretext for control if we don't step up and expose that they're behind it. Mark, your comments on that.
Yeah, I entirely agree. It's been a steady progression. It's been just one incident after another. We saw last year where Bush and Tony Blair had the plan to send U.S. military planes over Iran disguised as UN planes to try and instigate an attack on them so we would be justified in responding. I remember also last year Zbigniew Brzezinski appearing in the press, practically coming right out and saying, we had to worry about the current administration putting together a false flag terror op to stimulate war with Iran. This is a guy who is now Barack Obama's main foreign policy advisor. So again, we have these people coming out, in mainstream media within the last year with these, scenarios that have come and gone that have involved false flag terror. So I just think in this day and age, people are becoming a little bit too hip to what's going on. They understand ahead of time, similar to what happened in Spain when you had the false flag terror attack there with the train.
The people within days came out in the hundreds of thousands and said, "We know you did it," and it turned out it was the intelligence operation.
Exactly. Hopefully, we are reaching that point now in North America. So if you call it critical mass or whatever you want to, but hopefully through the work that you do and statements made by 9/11 truthers like myself and the many others around the world. We have people, a politician in Japanese parliament came out wanting to have another investigation. We're having a march in Canada to Ottawa to culminate on September 11th, where they're going to present a petition at Parliament Hill for a new 9/11 investigation in Canada. So I think, worldwide, you are seeing people come around and, waking up to the fact that this was a false flag operation, to have a certain effect on the American public. The question now is, are the people who live in America going to be smart enough to look into the right sources of information to kind of emancipate themselves from this media blackout that's going on? I think if people, continue to turn off their TVs, give less credence to mainstream media, corporate media, and instead, read online, read books, read magazines, anything out there that's going to give the true story of 9/11 truth. this is what's going to mobilize the population in America, so that when another false flag terrorist attack occurs, whatever it is, whether it's bioterror, whether it's a mini nuke somewhere, people will see it for what it is and not be railroaded into a certain mindset like they were after 9/11.
We're talking to Super Bowl champion, two-time Mark Stepnoski, five-time Pro Bowler. And he's, again, going public, not because it's fun, but because it's his duty. And I would venture to say, because he just said it, he knows that if we don't expose the tool of false flag, that mechanism, this military-industrial complex is going to keep doing it to hurt us. You want to attack Iran, you want to attack Iraq, you stage an event. You want to attack Egypt, you stage an event. They've been caught over and over, and they're going to continue to do this if we don't expose it. We're going to come back and talk about the fraudulent new NIST report with Mark Stepnoski.